And welcome back. He's going to go for the kick, and that was a pretty good kick. He's far back. Here we go. So sorry, I interrupted you to end the episode. Was there something you were going to say about?
No, I was just years ago. One of my favorite game experiences in terms of game development. Oh, and I picked it off.
Oh, nice. Go.
Oh,
it sounds like I'm watching. I'm watching an actual game of football. My dad gets up and he's like, go! He just yells at the top of his lungs.
I picked that off.
They can't hear you, Dad.
So I'm gonna pause and tell you the story.
Okay.
So I was the online producer for EA's NHL Arcade.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you remember that game, but it was kind of a side project by the NHL team that did the normal NHL game, and it was basically bobblehead hockey.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And you could throw bananas on the ice and that sort of thing, and it was the opposite of simulation hockey. I think it was like 3-on-3 or something like that,
okay.
and bobbleheads, and you could make the goalie get really big and do all those things. But the sound for that game was literally somebody in a sound studio going beep beep bloop bloop, shh, shh. And so all of the normal sound effects that were in EA Sports titles at the time, with a nice professional swish and click, and were all replaced by somebody standing in front of a microphone going beep, bloop, bleep, swish, blonk. And so it was literally somebody making funny noises in front of a microphone, and they were supposed to be placeholder artwork. It wasn't supposed to ship like that, but everybody that played the game thought that was the funniest thing, and so keep it, ship that way.
I don't have a copy of that game. I gotta get it.
That was amazing. That was on all the titles I worked on for them. That was one of my favorites.
See that would be great for like a show like this, where if we just play a silly game. Not that this isn't, but I find with the sillier stuff, it's easier to get people into it.
Yeah. See, that was a bomb down the sideline, and I'm throwing it into double coverage. So that should never... What happened was correct. That's very low percentage pass. The odds of you completing that are pretty minimal, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Have other people in the cluster played this
Yes.
to play test?
Yes.
Has my brother played this yet, or?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Pretty sure he's mentioned it on a couple occasions, so... He always talks about that apparently there's Xbox controllers and stuff here. He's brought some home before, so I see actually there's an Xbox One S over there too. Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a PS4 Pro up there.
And there's a PS4 Pro in there. Yeah.
Well, that worked out for you.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't get the major, but a field goal.
Good job, Franzini.
A free field goal is always good. Yeah.
And there we go, now back in the lead.
And you can't really see it out the windows here because the rain is obscuring it. But if you look out the windows of the stadium from this angle, you could actually see the Navy shipyards.
Oh, really?
So, this is there is no football stadium in Halifax, so this is obviously very fictional.
Yeah.
But I did try to give it some backstory.
Okay.
The Jumbotron, you may notice, is being the support for the Jumbotron is 2 ship's masts. And so when I was coming up with the design of what was clearly going to be a very fictional building, see this ship mast is holding up the Jumbotron, I gave it a backstory of the reason it's all brick is because they're from an they took brick from an old factory that they had to tear down to make room for the building, and the anchors are from historic ships, and the masts are from an historic ship, and all this stuff.
So I was going to
it's
ask
all
you,
fictional, but
do you have like a debug mode on here that we could take the camera and go around and look at some of that stuff? Or
yes, what you do is I go into replay mode, and I can.
Oh, you can do it in replay mode.
You can
Okay.
just do it replay.
Oh,
So he's kind of stuck doing that, but so. If you look at the scoreboard is reflective of the actual game situation. So that clock updates in real time and all that other thing. The videos that it displays are correct to what is happening on the field. So in this particular case right here, the home team defense is on the field. So the scoreboard is flashing a video of, make noise. Okay. So it's trying to pump up the crowd. Okay. It's got the innovation cluster and the startup banners. Those are obviously the innovation clusters where we work out of. So threw their banner into the game. Startup Peterborough's helped us get going. So threw their banner into the game.
Can you just go closer to like the crowd? I just want to get a closer look at these guys.
The crowd is a little bit generic. There's only a few different. There's only a few different body styles. I don't think you can get that close. You can only. There's a few different body styles, but they are. Some of them are just sitting quietly. Others are standing. That sort of thing.
So are they all randomized too? Like. How they appear, or is it like, do you use anything like Massive or any software like that to get
that is using a technique called GPU mesh instancing.
Okay.
And basically what that does is, the reality is that in the game scene there is only one spectator.
Okay.
And with GPU mesh instancing, you can create thousands of copies of that same mesh.
Oh, okay.
And with earlier versions of mesh instancing, they had to be exactly the same.
Okay.
But now with a couple of new APIs that Unity has built into their game engine, you can apply shaders to them that will animate them differently and give them slightly different textures.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is I have a big texture atlas, which is basically a big picture with a whole bunch of little pictures in it.
Okay.
And the shader for the spectator is given a random number between 1 and I think 64.
Okay.
And it picks... It goes through row and column until it gets to slot 64, and it takes that part of the texture and applies it to that particular spectator, which is why some of them have white shirts and blue jeans, and others have black shirts and blue jeans, and some of them have red shirts and brown jeans and whatever else, right? It's also why some of them are doing different animations. Some of them are standing up and clapping their hands. Some of them are sitting down, drinking, whatever else, because in the same way that you can assign them to have different textures, you can also assign them to have slightly different animations. So the reality is that there is only one spectator, but through this technique that Unity provides, you can get thousands of them.
Yeah.
And in one of the other stadiums, Edmonton, I've got 60,000 spectators.
Okay.
But I'm also running 60,000 spectators at 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
And they're all animated. And while I was developing the code to flesh that out and make it work and build a system that I could plug in to put people in particular seats, that's the other thing you'll notice is that every spectator has their own seat.
Yeah.
I had something around 200,000 spectators, but at 60 frames a second. And that was just for testing and debugging and development. But that was kind of neat to see, over 200,000 little tiny people on screen. One of the other things you'll notice is that if the camera gets behind a goalpost, the goalpost becomes alpha blended.
Yeah.
So here it's a solid goalpost, but as the camera gets behind it, it becomes alpha blended, so you can see through it, so you can still see, because you don't want a goalpost in the way of you seeing what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I alpha blend out the goalpost, and if you look over here on the sidelines, all the players have different animations while they're just sort of on the sidelines. The fan on the sideline is spinning slowly. You know, even if you look under one of the benches there's some garbage that, you know, the Gatorade cups have fallen down and whatever else, and there's the kicking net is there. If you look over here, you'll see one of those anchors that I was talking about on the side.
Yeah, so, I see that.
This is, like I said, it's a completely fictional stadium. And as you move around, you can see the reflection of everything on the windows.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
The effect that I've applied to the camera for the rain obscures it a little bit, but you can see the reflection of the whole stadium in the windows of the stadium as I move around and whatever else.
Do you have any anti-aliasing technology in this? Or
I'm using 2x.
2x? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason I went with 2 and not something higher is just performance.
Right.
The more anti-aliasing you have, the higher count, the lower the frame rate.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep upwards of 60 frames a second. So anything that impacted that was sort of kept to a minimum. So you do see, if you zoom into this guy here, actually I'll zoom right in. You can see that the grass is, you know, your typical 3D grass for, you know, every sports game in the world has that now. Probably has had that for about 10 years. But, you know, it's one of those standard things that even this game has. I can actually hide that maybe. So, yeah, the fields. And every field is unique. Every stadium has their own unique, slightly different field. If you were to go into Montreal, you'll notice that, you'll notice that the end zones are cropped because there's a racing track around it.
Okay.
So yeah, there's little unique little things like that to add some diversity. There's the animated flashboard along the top where it says Canuck play. That flashes when you get a touchdown.
Okay.
So
now, where do the advertisements show up when it is online? Because I heard that there were advertisements in the game.
So that is something that is in the game, but it's not in the game.
Yeah, okay.
The only advertising that is in the game right now is, where's the scoreboard? It's over here. Is those little things that you see up there. I did try to get advertising that would go along the sidelines and you know, halftime brought to you by so-and-so. The challenge is that without a professional license, it's hard to attract those advertisers.
Right.
So that is, I was saying earlier in the podcast that not having a license opens up some things that you can do, like adding a fictional team.
Yeah.
But it also closes some doors.
Yeah.
So it's really, until there's a pro license on it, it's going to be a tough to get some advertising.
Yeah.
But if there are any advertisers listening or watching that are interested, give me a call.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. And next time on Guest Plays, we'll continue this play, I guess.
Yeah, we'll.